Will you please welcome Gordon Tredgold?
Does anybody know what WD-40 stands for? Anybody heard of WD-40? Yeah. What does WD-40 stand for?
Water disperser number 40. Water disperser number 40.
You're very close.
Water displacement number 40.
It's the 40th formula they tried, isn't it?
Correct. It's water dispersal successful at the 40th attempt. So we need to look at failure and understand it and get feedback from it. And Claire said to me, stand on the stage. Having fallen off a stage twice at the same event, oh yes, I fell on and I fell off. I am short, but that's a big drop for me. That's about 10% of my height, so thank you for that. Not all feedback needs to be followed. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to make all of the failures that everybody else has made to learn from them. I'd like to learn from their feedbacks, because sometimes feedbacks can be very, very painful, and that's what FAST's about. It's about understanding what failure is and what we can learn from other people's failures in order to be successful. And I'm passionate about FAST because I've used it in personal, private, professional life. I ran a program where the goal was to save $110 million, and I got that up to 350. So a 240 million improvement, which was a fantastic achievement, and the company recognised that, and they gave me a €10 gift voucher to spend on products in their shop. Now that was the bit that really stung. And there was another cartoon, and I couldn't get that one, and the cartoon said, and this was in Le Monde, it said, would the passengers on platform 1 please breathe in? Your train is trying to pass. and the impact of this, it was colossal. How long is it going to take you to upgrade 1,800 stations? Now, I've never done a day's work in my life. Would we agree on that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But even I know you can't put sandpaper down the side of the trains and just kind of shunt them in and out and file it down. It's going to take 2 years to do this. So the 150 million is within the contingency budget of a $15 billion programme, but it's all of the other things that are going to make the failure worse. Can you imagine, because you're all speakers, right? You know how to speak in difficult situations. How would you handle the conversation with the President of France when you have to tell him what we've done? I have good news and bad news. That might work. Sit down, you're going to laugh when I tell you what we've done. Yeah, that's not a conversation you're going to want to have, and it's probably career limiting. And, you know, probably. And when you look at this, you think, yeah, but it's the French. Now, who would be surprised at that? Australian Navy spent 40 million building landing craft that do not fit on any ship in their fleet. 40 million on landing craft that don't fit in any ship in their fleet. And it's not just the big projects that fail. My uncle, I am from Yorkshire, we do have short arms, deep pockets, I know. And he decided he wanted to build his own garage. He's a quantity surveyor, so he's in the building trade, he knows everything. It'll be a lot cheaper if I do it. So he measured his car. And he built his garage based on that measurement. That's right. Car goes in, car comes out. Hey, can you get in and get out? No. No. I mean, such a small mistake. That's right, laugh at the Yorkshireman. You know, I mentioned the French, and it's mention the Australians, Yorkshiremen, and you'll have a good chuckle. We're still laughing at that every Christmas, though. I bought him Vaseline. So 3 tips on what we can do to improve our focus. Create clearly defined goals and outcomes. What's the result we're looking for? Keep goals to a minimum, no more than 3. And for entrepreneurs, I invariably say 1 goal, and that's a revenue goal. And the last thing is we need to communicate our goals clearly, simple and often. If you've got a team, let the people in your team know what the goal is. If you've got a secret dream to speak at Carnegie Hall, keeping it to yourself is really going to make that goal happen. Why not share it with the people in your team? They might know somebody. When we're accountable, it encourages other people to be accountable. Leadership defines culture, and as leaders, we have to be the ones who set the tone for our organisation. And not only does it work for within our organisation, it can also work outside of our organisation with our suppliers and customers. Steve Clark and I are both going to be speaking at the Baltic Leadership Conference in Lithuania. I sent my invoice for speaking. Thank you for that. And within 2 days, the payment was in my bank account. When the lady emails me for something, how quickly do you think I reply? Immediately. If she'd have made me wait 8 weeks for payment and then sent me an email saying I need something, you know what? I'll get to it when I'm good and ready. So by her taking accountability, setting the tone, she influenced my behaviour. So if you want your people to be accountable, then you need to be accountable. And who are the worst people for overcomplicating things? Specific group of people? Doctors are a subset of that group? Experts. Experts. So what we need to do is we need to challenge our experts and say to them, explain it to me as if I am an 8-year-old. And if they can do that, that's fantastic. They understand it. If they can't do that, then either they're unable to explain it, and if they're managing and leading teams, how are they going to communicate that? Or they don't understand. And if my experts don't understand, they are no longer my experts. And this is the challenge with simplicity. Simplicity is not a line with complex at one end and simple at the other end. It's a circle. So as we start simplifying things, we need to make sure we don't oversimplify, because now we've made it complex. Okay, so the last part of FAST is transparency. Transparency is about truth and knowledge. Knowledge of what's involved and the truth about your performance. This is the Olympic Stadium in Athens. When I ran my first ever marathon, I did it in 5 hours, 12 minutes. I thought, wouldn't it be fantastic to break the marathon 5-hour barrier in Athens? So I did my due diligence. I looked at what the course was like, because this isn't an Olympic. They do use it for the Olympics, but it's not a prepared course. It was the route from Marathon to Athens in 300 and odd BC. And when you look at it, it's actually a lot more uphill than downhill. And it's uphill from mile 6 to mile 20. Yeah. I should have thought about doing that sub 5 hours somewhere else, really. But, you know, I want to finish in the Olympic Stadium. And I knew that, on average, people took 20 minutes longer. So now I'm not training to run in 5 hours. I'm training to run in 4 hours 40, because I want to finish it on the other course in under 5 hours. So I knew where I needed to be, and I knew after 18 miles I needed to be at 3.5 hours, and I knew as I started to come down where I needed to be, and I was running, and I got to the top of the hill, and I was bang on schedule. And now it's 6 miles downhill into the Olympic Stadium, and I'm on schedule. I'm going to run faster. 3 hours later, I've got 45 minutes left to the 5-hour mark, and I'm ahead of schedule. I'm running at 12 minutes a mile. I've got 3 miles left, and I've got 45 minutes. So I can do them in 15 minutes each, and I'm going to be home and dry. And then catastrophe struck. The battery on my iPhone died. No more Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger is crucial. You need that on a loop for those last few miles. But I use a technique called Galloway, where you run for 3 minutes and you walk for a minute. Run for 3 minutes and you walk for a minute. And the iPhone was telling me how to do that. So now, as a mathematician, it's no problem for me to count to 180 and then count to 60. Apart from the fact that I'm knackered, it's 28 degrees of heat, and I'm not really thinking straight. So I continued the marathon, and I finished it in a time of 5 hours and 9 seconds. Pull that spear out of my chest. And the reason for that was because I couldn't see how long it was taking me. I didn't have that visibility. If I'd have known, I could have found 9 seconds. I could have not had that second latte at Starbucks at mile 25. I kid you not. I didn't have to high-five all 5,000 people down that finishing mile. So the next marathon I ran, I took 2 batteries and I did it in 4 hours 53, and I did that in Fort Lauderdale. Doesn't sound as glamorous as Athens, does it? So we need to make sure we have transparency into our performance, otherwise we're going to find ourselves plucking defeat from the jaws of victory. So when you go home, ask yourself, am I being fast? Am I focused? Do I know what success looks like for me as a speaker? Do I know the roles and responsibilities, and have I communicated them to the people involved? Do I have a simple approach to achieve it, and am I measuring how well I'm doing? And if you do that, you will have significant improvement in your business. My name is Gordon Tredgold. This is the Fast Strategy for Success. Thank you.